This guy's actions seem a bit off. At this moment, Xiao Tianming gestured, signaling for the offensive to stop along with the Holy King. Together, they enclosed the target from the front and back, their eyes constantly scanning and vigilantly watching the shadow of the Dark Descendant. With their perceptive abilities, it was clear to both of them that there were strange marks on the body of the Dark Descendant. However, the earth-shattering attack from the Holy King had just been unleashed, and yet it hadn't left a single injury on the latter. It was utterly unfathomable. Boom! Moments later, a blinding crack suddenly appeared in the evil Grand Array not far from them. Then, a towering beam of light shot up from within, rapidly rising into the air. In the gaze of countless onlookers, it surged into the ever-shifting body of the heavenly demon Sacred Emperor. With this strange transformation, the aura within the heavenly demon Sacred Emperor's body now emanated a trace of energy that was uniquely associated with the Holy King. He's absorbing the power of the Holy King and Tianming, feeding it back into the heavenly demon Sacred Emperor. The heavenly demon Sacred Emperor now carries the auras of both of them, gaining enough resistance to their attributes. Even if they combine their strength, it's likely to be ineffective. This guy is nothing short of a madman. At this moment, Yao Ji, Thunderlord, and other powerful figures displayed rare concern, and their expressions became notably grim. I'm curious to see just how many attacks this demonic body of yours can withstand. With that, Xiao Tianming snorted coldly. A surging aura of a late-stage semi-god gathered around him, and his gaze became filled with silent intensity. The surrounding space rippled with scorching waves of energy, expanding outwards and shaking all the evil creatures in the dim void. Bring it on. Dark Descendant's demonic body, evil god's protection. Faced with the siege of the two-peak semi-god level experts, the shadow of the Dark Descendant felt immense pressure. Without the evil marks bestowed upon his body by the leader of the extraterritorial realm, he would have been unable to withstand any of their attacks. After all, the difference between early stage and peak stage semi-god was simply too vast. Divine law, god-slaying strike. Silver-white flames continuously swirled around the Holy King, and a majestic, brilliant divine ruler materialized out of nowhere. The moment the god-slaying ruler appeared, it brought with it an unprecedented visual shock. It seemed as if nothing in this world could resist such a world-destroying attack from the Holy King. With the second sacred flame and the fully unleashed god-slaying ruler, combining the power of the peak semi-god stage, this strike was as fierce as it could get. Afterglow of fire, infinite radiance. Xiao Tianming also smiled faintly, watching the terrifying assault from the Holy King. He immediately formed hand seals, summoning a blazing sun that made the entire void tremble violently. Two divine techniques descended upon the battlefield in an instant, reducing all life in the vicinity to ash. Boom! As they watched the two terrifying attacks rush towards them, a deep, indescribable fear surged in the shadow of the Dark Descendant's eyes. His senses told him that if this battle truly broke out, he would undoubtedly lose. However, if he retreated, countless evil creatures behind him would face utter annihilation. Facing the two-peak semi-god experts descending like gods upon him, the shadow of the Dark Descendant's body suddenly ignited. Dark, ghostly flames surged upwards, and with a massive swipe of his hand, he shattered the surrounding void. A vast, blood-red mouth appeared in the sky, seemingly bearing the marks of resisting his opponents. Boom! The three attacks collided in an instant, shattering the entire darkened world around them. Evil auras scattered in all directions, and even the very fabric of space broke apart like shattered crystal, sending chilling sounds of destruction echoing throughout the battlefield. Bloodlight soared into the sky. Moments later, a fading blood-red light shot upwards from the center of the explosion, escaping towards the now shattered evil formation behind him. Where do you think you're going? Just as the shadow of the Dark Descendant was fleeing rapidly, the Holy King's body mysteriously appeared in the space where the shadow was trying to escape. He raised a finger, covered in silver holy inscriptions, and lightly pointed. Sacred flames surged, transforming into a towering column of fire. As soon as it touched the last trace of the shadow's essence, the evil marks on his body quickly melted away, as if frozen ice meeting scorching flames. Gurgle. At that moment, countless evil creatures in the evil grand array felt their hearts and souls quake in unison, releasing a deafening roar that shook the heavens. The heavenly guardian failed to suppress Xiao Yan. The shadow of the dark descendant failed. With the netherworld and the angel kingdom forces now gone, the only strong being left in the extraterritorial evil clan who could surpass the reincarnation stage was the heavenly demon sacred emperor. After dealing with the shadow of the dark descendant, the holy king and the others did not pause, swiftly advancing towards the evil grand array. They knew they had to stop the heavenly demon sacred emperor to ensure Xiao Yan could successfully transcend his tribulation. Otherwise, the consequences would be unthinkable. High above, countless brilliant fiery cloud layers completely obscured the quasi-god tribulation. Xiao Yan understood that the power of the divine art had already left this world riddled with cracks. If the quasi-god tribulation were to strike unimpeded, it would not only affect the extraterritorial evil clan, but also the allied forces from the Great Thousand Worlds, who would not be able to escape. At that point, a mutual destruction scenario was clearly something he did not wish to see. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Stepping onto the radiant clouds, Xiao Yan could feel an oppressive wave of energy emanating from the colorless, nearly transparent thunderclouds above him. It seemed these clouds were the guardians of the same divine level. To gain the supreme divine power capable of shaking an entire world, one had to pass through their assessment first. Boom! Not long after, the colorless thunderclouds began to stir. A chaotic glimmer descended from the sky and immediately shot into Xiao Yan's body. Boom! Though seemingly insignificant, the chaotic glimmer that entered Xiao Yan's body caused his entire being to tremble violently, disrupting his internal energy. Almost instantly, a tingling sensation spread across his skin, and countless chaotic thunderbolts flickered in his pores, hinting at the possibility of his body being torn apart. What is this? Xiao Yan furrowed his brow as the power within his body seemed to freeze, no longer responding to his will. Roar! In that critical moment, the dragon god bone behind him surged with energy. Brilliant light erupted from it, and the immense divine power condensed into a seven-colored auspicious dragon, which coiled protectively around Xiao Yan, continuously neutralizing the chaotic glimmer's disruptive effect. Crack! Crack! Even with the protection of the seven-colored auspicious dragon, Xiao Yan's body still broke apart repeatedly, his once formidable physique, fused with demonic power and the dragon god bone, already having entered the divine realm, now appeared weak and helpless under the quasi-god tribulation, like a child. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Above, the thunderclouds of the sky continued to unleash chaotic glimmers, with the lightning strikes swirling as if to completely suppress Xiao Yan. As more and more tribulation lightning descended, Xiao Yan's face remained eerily calm. The chaotic glimmers and lightning strikes were naturally an inescapable disaster for him, but upon further thought, wasn't this also a great fortune? Meanwhile, the Holy King and Xiao Tianming continued to fight within the evil Grand Array, trying to dismantle the heavenly demon sacred emperor's plan. However, faced with countless evil creatures who sacrificed themselves to block their path, their progress was slow, resembling that of a snail. Reluctantly, after a brutal battle, they retreated back to the allied forces' position. Yet, in the distance, the heavenly demon sacred emperor's strength and aura were rapidly growing stronger with the passage of time. At the same time, within the evil Grand Array, blood surged and countless blood coffins, followed by the evil creatures, formed an overwhelming source of malevolent energy, continuously pouring into the heavenly demon sacred emperor's body, which seemed to act like a black hole. No one knew the current situation behind Xiao Yan in the sky, but the oppressive aura emanating from the heavens still sent shivers down everyone's spine, making the situation grow increasingly tense. Tianming, let us join forces with the allied forces, and see if we can completely dismantle the heavenly demon sacred emperor's plan. Let's make our move, everyone. After a brief moment of hesitation, the Holy King's sacred flame aura grew even stronger. Clearly, this was their only option now. Senior, please wait a moment. After some deliberation, the Holy King and the others, attempting to break through the evil array with the help of the Allied Forces elite, were stopped by Mu Yingying's words. Mu Yingying, her soulful eyes fixed on the heavenly demon sacred emperor within the evil grand array high above, seemed to sense something. Yingying, what is it? Upon hearing Mu Yingying's unexpected words, Yao Ji, Thunderlord, and the others quickly turned their attention to her. Senior, I have something to say. I've always felt that these extraterritorial evil clan members are neither humans nor any other life forms. They seem to merely be a nascent form of energy. If we want to completely erase them, we must eradicate the source. Mu Yingying spoke with a solemn expression, each word spoken with gravity. Not human, nor a life form, but an energy? Is there anyone in this world capable of possessing such immense power? Upon hearing Mu Yingying's words, countless strong figures from the Great Thousand Alliance stood in stunned silence, all staring at her in shock. My previous incarnation was the spirit of the sacred flame, and I have an extraordinarily keen sense for celestial spirits. In the depths of Mu Yingying's spiritual eyes, there seemed to be a profound and unspoken meaning. What speculation? At this moment, the Holy King, Xiao Yan, and the others stopped their attacks and turned their gazes toward Mu Yingying. I suspect that within the heavenly demon sacred emperor, the shadow of the dark descendant, and even many of the powerful members of the extraterritorial evil clan, there are evil runes of the leader of the extraterritorial realm embedded within them. These runes are not granted to them by the leader of the extraterritorial realm. Rather, they seem innate. I believe they are probably part of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. To truly end the celestial war, we must eradicate the leader of the extraterritorial realm. As soon as Mu Yingying's voice fell, countless experts instantly turned pale, their faces drained of color. Why you mean? Are you saying the entire existence of the extraterritorial evil clan was caused by the leader of the extraterritorial realm alone? This is simply unbelievable. Mu Yingying's shocking words had barely ended when everyone shook their heads in disbelief, gazing at her with expressions of astonishment. If this were true, then the fallen experts of the extraterritorial evil clan might somehow return in another form. In that case, the situation in the Great Thousand Worlds would be on the brink of collapse. Such a catastrophic outcome was clearly something no one wished to see. Boom! Above the sky, thunderous sounds rang out, and with each explosion, the very souls of the onlookers trembled violently, as if some unimaginable and evil being from the heavens and earth was slowly being born. Boom! The rumbling continued, sending waves of deafening noise throughout the area. The evil grand array began to crack, and countless rays of evil light converged, from which an endless sea of blood seemed to emanate, sending a chilling and terrifying ripple through the air. At this moment, everyone looked up at the endless sea of blood above, a wave of despair rising within their hearts. At the end of the blood sea, complex, evil halos flickered, and within them, a power beyond all else seemed to exist. The chaotic light swirled slightly, casting a stark contrast against the evil figure emerging from the blood sea. The end of the blood sea stirred a massive wave of blood, the stench of death suffocating in the air. Among the surge, a young figure stood suspended, his body clothed in pitch-black robes. As the robes fluttered in the wind, one could hear the sorrowful wails of the countless souls trapped within, and on his strikingly handsome face, dark, intricate lines of energy pulsed, his black eyes like bottomless pits, emanating an aura of mystery and depth that made it impossible to gauge his true power. Even with just a glance, the Holy King and the others could clearly feel the sharp, formidable aura emanating from this figure, a presence that far surpassed anything they could resist with their semi-god strength. The current heavenly demon sacred emperor was far more powerful than before. He has succeeded? Even though the evidence was right before them, many of the Allied forces experts still found it hard to believe, muttering in disbelief. Indeed, he's at the quasi-god rank, though it's a level he's forcibly attained through devouring power. The Holy King and Xiao Tianming shook their heads simultaneously. Both of them had been trapped at the peak of the semi-god stage for many years without any sign of breakthrough. From this, they could clearly see the enormous gap between semi-god and quasi-god ranks. The heavenly demon Sacred Emperor had gambled everything on this move, sacrificing countless members of the extraterritorial evil clan. But he had succeeded. With the power of my clan, I will ascend to quasi-god. Now, your doomsday begins. Atop the towering blood sea waves, the heavenly demon Sacred Emperor stepped forward leisurely, his sinister laughter echoing like the cry of a death god, stirring boundless fear in the hearts of the countless experts of the great 1,000 allied forces. Hee, the heavenly demon Sacred Emperor sure has a big mouth. My friends, you've waited long enough. As the heavenly demon Sacred Emperor's palm twisted, the blood sea churned violently, attempting to annihilate the entire great 1,000 allied forces. At that very moment, the dazzling clouds in the sky suddenly parted, and a familiar figure slowly emerged, a hearty laugh resonating like a calming charm, dispelling the fear in the minds of the allied forces experts. From within the fiery cloud layer, a towering figure, controlling the power of thunder and flame radiance, let out a deafening roar. Then, countless flames, mixed with a terrifying energy that demanded reverence, descended from the sky. In that instant, the world fell silent. Above the vast sky, the endless fiery cloud layer slowly dissipated. A young, handsome figure stood lightly in midair. Dressed impeccably, his strikingly handsome face was surrounded by an endless, mysterious brilliance, and his jet-black eyes, as unfathomable as the abyss, contained an indescribable divine power of the heavens and earth. Even the faintest gaze from him caused the fear rising within countless powerful beings, due to the heavenly demon emperor to vanish in an instant. It seemed that even someone as formidable as the heavenly demon emperor was humbled before this slender figure. When Xiao Yan reappeared, the first to react were Xiao Tianming and the 4 matriarchs of the boundless fire domain. They sensed Xiao Yan's aura the moment he appeared before everyone. The 5 of them fixed their gazes on him, and with their keen senses, they immediately realized that this Xiao Yan was completely different from the one they had known before. Previously, Xiao Yan had harmonized the power of demonic force and sacred flame, and even though he tried to suppress his power, the pressure he unconsciously released was enough to awe anyone. After all, he had mastered the dual god realms and was a peak semi-god expert. But now, even though Xiao Yan had stepped into the quasi-god tribulation, a careful examination revealed that there was almost no overwhelming energy within him. His body seemed like an empty shell, as ordinary as any mortal. Has he succeeded? Moments later, the 4 matriarchs smiled with relief, their worries gradually fading away as they sighed deeply in relief. They didn't know how terrifying the quasi-god tribulation truly was, nor did they know the peril Xiao Yan had faced to overcome it. But fortunately, he had succeeded. This boy is truly a genius our Xiao clan has never seen in 100 generations. At this moment, even someone as extraordinarily talented as Xiao Tianming couldn't help but give Xiao Yan a thumbs up. What an unexpected outcome. In the core of the Buddhist realm, the sea of blood surged, and the sky lost its color. The heavenly demon emperor stood tall in the midst of the 10,000-meter-high blood waves, his eyes filled with violent fury, clearly indicating the threat Xiao Yan posed to him. Unexpected? Perhaps. Facing the heavenly demon emperor's posture, Xiao Yan waved his hand and smiled. From his understanding of the heavenly demon emperor, the latter had devoured countless beings from the extraterritorial evil clan to pave the way for his quasi-god ascension. Now, as a quasi-god, how could he stop Xiao Yan? It seemed that from the moment Xiao Yan decided to fight with all his might, the outcome was already sealed. Now, you are the final embodiment of the extraterritorial evil clan. With your destruction, this eternal battle of reincarnation will come to an end. Xiao Yan looked up. Hot light patterns began to ripple in his dark, deep eyes. As these patterns surged, countless powerful beings could clearly feel the upheaval in the world. Countless forces rushed toward Xiao Yan as though he were the true master of this world, capable of controlling everything at will. God's domain? At this moment, the heavenly demon emperor's calm expression turned to one of cold cruelty. The power of a domain was self-evident, but a god's domain was nearly an invincible, immortal existence. Then, let me kill you within this divine domain. The manifestation of the divine domain pressed down on the heavenly demon emperor with such intensity that his body trembled slightly. Let's try it then. At that very moment, Xiao Yan failed to notice a strange sight. A black and white scorching sun had mysteriously appeared at the edge of the Buddhist realm sky. It slowly expanded, and within it, a near pitch-black evil sun began to form, with the white energy nearly on the verge of vanishing. You boast too much. Even though you've stepped into the quasi-god realm, you're just a mere youngster. How can you compare to the countless powerful beings of my extraterritorial race? The heavenly demon emperor sneered, and behind him, endless blood-colored wheels began to gather. The war between the worlds has caused endless slaughter in my great thousand worlds. So, in this battle, it's time to repay the debt. Facing the heavenly demon emperor's fierce methods, a cold killing intent surged from Xiao Yan's eyes, as boundless as the heavens themselves. Enough talking. The victor will be king. The loser will be the prisoner. The heavenly demon emperor's gaze became silent. Behind him, massive blood-colored chains shot out from the swirling vortex, each one exuding a terrifying, soul-stirring power. As the chains surged, eerie energy spread in waves, causing the very heavens and earth to tremble. Boy, receive this strike. At that moment, in the great thousand allied forces below, the Holy King, who had been trying to protect many strong individuals with defensive barriers, let out a roar. The god-slaying ruler, combined with his own primordial flame, shot toward Xiao Yan's side. Buzz. The second sacred flame source and the god-slaying ruler, in its complete form, had just arrived beside Xiao Yan when they erupted with overwhelming might. Such divine artifacts, perhaps, could only truly unleash their god-slaying strike when wielded by a quasi-god level powerhouse. Since that's the case, let me experience for myself the difference between a quasi-god level that relies on crooked methods to advance and my own authentic quasi-god level. As he spoke, a series of brilliantly colored heavenly earth flames erupted around Xiao Yan. The moment the heavenly earth flames erupted, they transformed into intricate and ancient sacred inscriptions, which continuously imprinted themselves onto the god-slaying ruler. The god-slaying ruler originally had only 9 slots for sacred inscriptions, but as Xiao Yan unleashed his sky-shattering technique, numerous dragon eye-sized indents appeared on the enormous ruler. In the blink of an eye, 33 such indentations formed. 33 sacred inscriptions. But why are there 3 missing? Aside from the mysterious first sacred flame and the sacred flame within the central human realm lord's body, there seems to be another sacred flame. At this moment, the Holy King below muttered, his understanding of the sacred flame clearly reaching an entirely new level. It's the 14th-ranked Eternal Nightmare Flame. That sacred flame once resided with the Soul Clan leader of the Do-D continent, but later, when the Soul Clan leader, along with an elder from the Guardian clan, went to investigate the Dragon clan's location, both perished, and the sacred flame disappeared. Xun'er's clear eyes flickered with some confusion. Soul Clan leader, Han Tianhao. At this moment, the other 3 matriarchs also exclaimed in surprise, as though sensing something. This guy's movements have always been mysterious, and I have a feeling that when he was in the Do-D continent, he repeatedly observed Xiao Yan secretly. I suspect he was planning something sinister against Xiao Yan. Boom. Before the discussion could continue, the battlefield above the shattered skies intensified. There was an unmistakable aura of world-shattering force. This was the clash of 2 quasi-god level powerhouses. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The heavenly demon emperor, gazing at the god-slaying ruler in Xiao Yan's hand as it absorbed countless sacred inscriptions, immediately felt a surge of danger. Not giving Xiao Yan any chance to react, he raised his palm and swung his sleeve violently, sending torrents of blood-red light and evil chains spiraling toward Xiao Yan's position, carrying a savage bloodlust that ravaged the heavens and earth. Though the heavenly demon emperor's attack was fierce, Xiao Yan, though puzzled, remained undeterred. The moment the blood-red light and chains came for him, he reached out his hand, causing a ripple of astonishment among the onlookers. That gesture seemed like a god mocking the futile resistance of weak beings. Endless fiery power surged from Xiao Yan's palm, immediately wrapping around the evil bloodlight and chains. In an instant, the bloodlight was incinerated by his scorching flames, turning into nothingness. Even the sinister, vicious chains cracked and splintered under the heat. Clearly, with the power of 33 sacred flames, Xiao Yan was far stronger than the heavenly demon emperor. In the next moment, Xiao Yan's other palm slightly raised, aiming for the heavenly demon emperor at the end of the blood sea, not giving him any respite. In an instant, the sky dimmed, the very void shattered. Countless sacred flames surged forth, transforming into a magnificent fiery mountain that barreled toward the heavenly demon emperor. Boom! The demonic energy surged across the heavens and earth, but it was gradually being burned and purified by Xiao Yan's sacred flame power. The battle between the two was so ferocious that the powerful members of the Great Thousand Alliance could only pray silently. In the eerie, dim world, two chaotic lights flickered. The skies were filled with fiery clouds, evil blood waves crashing and colliding, creating devastating shockwaves along the way. The overwhelming killing intent and chilling evil aura enveloped the entire world, a spectacle so dazzling that the onlookers were left stunned. This guy's power is quite strange. After a simple test of strength, the two appeared evenly matched. Xiao Yan then stepped into the air, standing tall above the heavens. Before him, a massive ancient ruler materialized, its surface covered in countless dazzling fiery, sacred inscriptions. Even the sacred flames spilling from these inscriptions faintly enveloped Xiao Yan's body, forming a golden flame armor that made him appear grand and imposing. On the other side, seeing Xiao Yan's divine might, the heavenly demon emperor snorted coldly. The blood sea below him churned, from which countless menacing bloodthirsty auras emerged, morphing into a pitch-black demon armor. Boom, boom. In the next moment, the two of them shared an identical murderous intent, their pupils flashing with cold resolve. Without hesitation, they each gathered their power and struck with a full-force punch in the direction of their opponent. The dazzling, multicolored flame fist, infused with 33 kinds of divine power, streaked across the sky like the fiery wrath of the Emperor of Flames, scorching everything in its path. The heavenly demon's sacred emperor also launched a punch. The two fists, each packed with overwhelming force, collided violently. A terrifying explosion echoed through the air, sending shockwaves that tore apart the very fabric of space. Both of them were knocked back by hundreds of meters, struggling to regain their footing. Boom! As Xiao Yan was thrown back, the sacred flame armor on his body emitted a crisp sound, and his internal energy surged in response. Clearly, the seemingly casual attack had left quite an impact on him. However, the heavenly demon's sacred emperor wasn't faring any better. On the demon armor infused with extraterritorial evil energy, faint cracks began to form. Even the emperor's otherwise flawless body was seeping blood from his pores, the result of the earlier exchange. Xiao Yan had clearly gained the upper hand. Regaining his balance, the heavenly demon's sacred emperor glanced at the Great Thousand Alliance in the distance before shaking his head. With the Holy King, Xiao Tianming, and two other peak semi-god experts protecting them, even he found it difficult to obliterate them all at once, not to mention facing a quasi-deity-level opponent standing before him. However, if he could devour the power of those life forms, Xiao Yan would be no threat at all. Too bad he didn't have that chance now. After a brief moment, the heavenly demon's sacred emperor lowered his gaze to the bloodstains on his skin and the cracks forming on his demon armor. Madness began to spark in his eyes, and he licked his blood-red lips. His gaze locked onto Xiao Yan with a chilling intensity, and a suffocating pressure slowly started to envelop the area. Indeed, you are strong. But today, my goal is not you. The heavenly demon's sacred emperor sneered coldly, his voice laced with a madness never before heard. All the power within him seemed to boil and burn. Not us. Xiao Yan's pupils constricted slightly, confusion creeping into his expression. At this moment, the entire extraterritorial evil clan had become the source of the heavenly demon sacred emperor's strength as he entered the quasi-deity stage. If he could eliminate him, the ongoing nightmare of the extraterritorial evil clan's threat to the great thousand world would vanish without a fight. But what did the heavenly demon sacred emperor mean by his words? The next moment, the heavenly demon sacred emperor's actions provided the answer. The vast sea of blood beneath his feet surged violently, and an overwhelming stench of blood and violence shot up from the endless depths of the sea. Sensing the savage bloodlust rising from the sea of blood, the heavenly demon sacred emperor cracked a maniacal grin. He raised both hands high, as if to offer a tribute to some supreme divine object. Heavenly demon divine art, sacrifice. As soon as the words left his mouth, streams of evil essence blood sprayed from his lips, sinking into the blood sea behind him, seemingly awakening something transcendent. With my power, I call upon the great divine force to crush all calamities. Sacred demon god's heart. As he lifted his hands above his head, a chaotic vortex appeared above them. As soon as it emerged, it greedily devoured the entire sea of blood beneath him, leaving it completely barren. In that instant, blood-red light patterns formed in the air, falling like threads of blood-soaked light. The chaotic vortex slowly faded, leaving only a single dark, evil light orb no larger than a dragon's eye, quietly resting in his palm. The moment the orb appeared, all the heavenly and earthly forces in the Buddhist realm froze. Countless surviving life forms looked up, filled with an indescribable fear, as if they were trapped in an unshakable nightmare. Seeing the small but ominous demon heart, the divine palace, flame mantra, sacred flame, and demonic forces within Xiao Yan all flared in agitation. Even he could sense an overwhelming, unsettling aura from it. This evil heart seemed capable of destroying even quasi-deity level experts with a single blow. This sacred demon god's heart is formed from the essence of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. With its supreme power, it once defeated peak powerhouses like Xiao Yuntian and Xiao Tianyuan from the Great Thousand World. Today, I wonder if you, a descendant of the Xiao clan, can surpass your ancestors. The heavenly demon's sacred emperor carefully cradled the demon heart in his hand, his grin growing colder as he spoke. There was a sinister chill in his words, leaving the listener's mind swirling in confusion. Watching this, Xiao Yan's expression slowly turned calm. The surface of the demon heart was covered with countless ancient and intricate patterns. It seemed that such a small object contained a terrifying force that surpassed the very heavens and earth. A power so overwhelming that even Xiao Yan, at his current strength, might struggle to handle it. Xiao Yan. At this moment, for some unknown reason, the source of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python within Kai Lin and the flower god seal within Yungying both released a deep sense of unease. The source of this unease came from the demon heart of the heavenly demon sacred emperor. From that heart, they truly sensed an aura that moved them deeply. Though Xiao Yan possessed immortality, demonic powers, and other forces, the power contained within that demon heart was far more terrifying. So much so that it overshadowed all else. Endless worry crawled up from the depths of their souls. It seems you have great confidence in yourself. However, under the demon heart, all things fall silent. Open for me, sacred demon heart. The heavenly demon's sacred emperor looked at Xiao Yan with that unbearable expression, and his dark lips twisted into a sneer. A wave of endless fury surged out from his body, accompanied by an evil demonic aura like a black hole, erupting into the surroundings. Within that demonic energy, the chaotic attributes were overwhelming, and some of the gases were thick and viscous. Clearly, they were formed from countless beings of the extraterritorial evil clan. As the demonic energy poured out, it was expertly controlled by the heavenly demon's sacred emperor and infused into the demon heart. With the injection of this endless demonic energy, the once ordinary demon heart began to rise, its color growing darker. A fierce wind howled across the skies, and sharp, terrifying howls echoed from all directions. Now, the sacred demon heart was many times more powerful than when it first appeared. It seemed that wherever it swept its gaze, the void would simply collapse and be annihilated. In that instant, the heavenly demon sacred emperor gave Xiao Yan a cold and contemptuous smile, and Xiao Yan's entire body began to wither at an astonishing speed. As his body withered away, countless sources of power flowed from within, continuously feeding the sacred demon heart. The dark demon heart now appeared as a quiet orb of light, hovering in the sky, its overwhelming evil aura falling like rain. With each drop, it gradually eroded the victorious thoughts in the minds of the great Thousand Alliance's warriors. Endless fear quietly radiated from it. Now, the sacred demon heart had become an insurmountable evil chasm. As long as it existed, that fear from the depths of their souls would remain in the minds of the great Thousand Alliance's warriors, never to be shaken off. Boom, boom, boom. The torrential demonic rain falling around the sacred demon heart was vast and powerful. Though it did not cause any substantial harm to Xiao Yan, it easily shattered the defense shields of the distant warriors. In the blink of an eye, the defensive shields crumbled, and both the sacred king and Xiao Tianming were violently thrown back, crashing to the ground and creating massive pits. The energy ripples emanating from the small demon heart were so formidable that they effortlessly shattered the defense shield set up by two peak semi-god stage experts. For a moment, countless warriors of the Great Thousand Alliance felt powerless. Tears welled up at the corners of their eyes, and they felt helpless. It seemed that with the appearance of the sacred demon heart, their strength and resistance had become utterly laughable. We believe in him. The four matriarchs smiled brightly and helped the two disheveled peak semi-god stage warriors to their feet. With the four matriarchs and the elite forces of the Endless Flame Alliance leading the charge, the once collapsing Great Thousand Alliance warriors once again erupted with an unparalleled fighting spirit. The overwhelming sounds of battle filled the air, stirring their blood and invigorating them. So, this is your last support? Xiao Yan, who had initially planned to intervene and resolve the situation, looked at the unwavering determination of the warriors below with a smile of satisfaction. His gaze then turned to the towering and unapproachable demon heart, his expression growing serious. Sensing the overwhelming aura radiating from the demon heart, Xiao Yan's expression became grim. He took a deep breath, and with a powerful grip in the air, a colossal ancient ruler appeared, blazing with undying brilliance. 33 sacred inscriptions moved simultaneously, transforming the ruler into a towering flame blade. The ancient ruler flickered intensely with divine fire, slowly revolving as though waiting for a great sage to unleash its god-slaying power. Xiao Yan's body instantly ignited with flames, his form engulfed by the searing sacred flame of fire. Combined with the flame mantra flowing through him, the entire world seemed to burn at this very moment. The enormous god-slaying ruler in his hand also began to undergo subtle changes under his control. The divine power of the flame mantra enveloped the heavens and earth. As Xiao Yan stepped into the fifth realm, he instantly ascended to the divine rank, becoming a quasi-god at the three divine realms level. As the flames scorching the world began to burn the Buddha realm, the sacred demon god's heart, high above, trembled slightly. The surrounding evil radiance seemed to subtly fade. Clearly, Xiao Yan's fearless and divine actions had evoked a long-forgotten sense of unease. Sacred demon god's heart, fall. Strike down everything in this world. At this moment, the heavenly demon sacred emperor hadn't expected that Xiao Yan would break through to the three divine realms under such a dire situation. He roared in fury, and his entire body, nearly drained of strength, surged all its power into the sacred demon god's heart. It was as though he was using his last bit of strength to attempt to crush Xiao Yan. Flame mantra, god-slaying strike. Facing the heavenly demon sacred emperor's desperate attack, Xiao Yan's cold gaze showed no hint of emotion. His body radiated blinding brilliance, and with a violent surge of vitality within, he seized the massive fire ruler. The overwhelming aura of the quasi-god rank surged outward. In that instant, the entire world quaked violently,